You're listening to the Dibbly-Dobbly podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Graham, I thought to end this discussion today, there may be some up-and-coming cricketers making their way in cricket, and maybe some people interested in becoming a psychologist or getting into the sports psychology field. What advice would you give to them, and how would you go about giving advice to those type of people who want to make a career in cricket and make a career in psychology or sports psychology?
Yeah, it's a difficult one when you've got such a broad sort of span of people that you might be speaking to. I mean, I often do get emails and so on from parents saying, how do I introduce my children to sports psychology and I think the first thing I always say is exactly as we just said a moment ago, just to make sure that they're enjoying what they're doing, that it's a positive environment. The second is to ensure that they're learning, that you create an environment where you can learn and get better. And then I think, as you just said a moment ago, these are life skills. So if I'm working with a 12, 14-year-old boy or girl, then what we're doing is asking them to just be aware of exactly the things that we've talked about here, that when I bring a clear mind and I'm focused in the present moment, then I'm going to be better. If I feel like I'm going towards some sort of goal rather than away from it, then I seem to do better, etc. as well. So I think a lot of it's awareness initially. Don't make it too complicated. And in a very practical sense, think about those two things we talked about earlier, owning your space and holding your shape. I think they're the two things that you can practically do. I think if people are interested in psychology as a career, it's a pretty long haul to get registered as a psychologist. But you start it by doing well at school. You go to university, you study your way through, and so on. But the need for psychologists within the community is just massive. There are just so many roles for psychologists in everything from mental health through to organisational and neuroscience and so on. And I think what we're going to see in the next few years is just continuing breakthroughs in the neuroscience area. I think cricket's going to be facing some interesting experiences with some of the artificial intelligence and virtual reality training stuff that's going to be coming down the track in the next 5 years. But when it all boils down, I would just be hoping that people enjoy the game and that they use the game as an opportunity to develop those life skills, that clear mind, play brave, play clever, play better. I think they're pretty good life skills, and ones that I hope with my boys, it's stuff that they've been able to absorb, and ditto for anyone that we've worked with.
Absolutely. And as you said, there are important skills to learn in life, but also in cricket. And just have fun at the end of the day. That's more important. That's why I do the podcast. That's why people like me do cricket podcasts and talk about cricket. It's because we love it. And
exactly.
We're just having fun. That's the main thing. And I think international players at times forget that. At times. It's all serious, but you forget about the fun element. It's why did you play the game in the first place? To have fun.
Yeah, I think, there's four elements I always try and get players to think about when they're almost four questions. Are you achieving things? Are you developing and growing? Are you enjoying what you're doing? And are the relationships that you have with people around you positive? And when those four things are in place, they tend to do well. So I think certainly with professional players, they're the four things I'll often come back to with them to highlight that sometimes the achievement can be so much smothering those other areas, and they lose the energy, they lose the interest.
Absolutely. Well, Graham, thank you. Hi, everyone. Hope you enjoyed our cricket discussion with former first-class cricketer and sports psychologist Graham Winter. If you want to improve and get better as a cricketer, I highly recommend reading Graham's book, Mindful Cricket. After reading the book myself, I learnt loads about the mental side of cricket and how by having the right mindset can help you to be the best cricketer you can possibly be. Head over to Mindful Cricket to get a copy of the book, link to Mindful Cricket website, is in the description.